Anyway, I greet you in peace. I greet you in love. I greet you in joy. I greet you in the true celebratory mood that we should all be in right now. And the reason why I say that is because we're moving towards a new, just like a new vibration in the earth. And so it's beautiful because things are changing. The old ways are changing, new ways are taking form. So celebrate. We got to but there are certain things that we got to get out of the vernacular. And we have to understand that a lot of things that are going on are because they're, I guess, like self-perpetuating or whatever. Because you can't break a generational curse if you are still embracing the curse. Somebody asked me today, like, am I cursed? And I was like, well, only if you want to be. Because everything has to be like a mentality change type deal. And so I think that what I'm trying to get at, or what all the stuff that I've been going through, meditation and prayer wise and all that, but I think what a lot of it is like through prayer and meditation, it opens up other like consciousness, things that you didn't realize that were going on, which brings me full circle to like the whole wisdom and knowledge thing. And it's like I can't stop dealing with that because it's important. And I don't want to do it from the standpoint of I'm going to beat you over the head with scripture, which is like what most of the time what we are used to, right? Because that's not. But look at it in terms of the universe, and when Prophetess asked me to start doing this in the beautiful way that she did, the one thing, well, how do you teach people about ancient Alkebulan spirituality? Because see, there's a difference between going back and like studying the scriptures and studying the hieroglyphs and studying the papyrus and studying, all of these different documents. But then think about this. The principal thing, and which is historic, which went down in history. One thing was the whatever happened at Alexandria, the library. But historians, most Kemetic historians will tell you that it was facilitated because the leadership in Alexandria at the library would not allow the Greeks and the Romans to come into the library. The Greeks and the Romans offered them money, but they would not accept the money. And they were told, the Greeks and Romans were told by the leadership there at Alexandria, and that's another thing I got to find out, anyway, the true name of Alexandria, what the real name of where that wealth of knowledge and information sat, what the name of that was. But so all of that, and they were told that the only way that you can have access to the library, and not just that, but as well And according to Dr. Williams, even the fact that they wanted to be they wanted to become priests. They wanted to become part of their religious sect or whatever. But they were told that the only way that they could get access to the library was if they also put knowledge in. So it was always, you put knowledge in, you could take knowledge out. And so it was like a trade-off. And money had nothing to do with it. Money had no value in their system, in that particular system. So as the story goes, this infuriated the Greeks and the Romans. So they went back and they figured out a way to attack it and to destroy it. All right? So with that being said, so now we understand. And we understand, we overstand, and we stand on the fact that all of these things were facilitated through wisdom and knowledge. And the Greeks and the Romans wanted this wisdom and knowledge. So the first thing that they did was they studied under all of the great scholars, which is where the university, the collegiate system, all of these things that we do now, that well, I'm not even going to get into, I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about race. I don't want race to enter into this. I want this to be about humanity and spirits. So I apologize for what I was about to say in advance. But I don't want to make this into a black and white issue, because that's not what it really is. It's really a spiritual issue. So so all of these different things, so the knowledge and the wisdom, but think about it from the standpoint, so because I'm trying to teach this from a comedic standpoint. So that's why when I'm bringing up these things, I'm not bringing them up to say that see, because this stuff works for any human. It works for humanity. It's a human formula. It's not a black or white, or it's not an Asian formula. It's not an African formula. It's not a European formula. It's none of that. It's just saying that these are the things that the ancients observed, and that from their observation, this is how they not only survived, but how they thrived. And we know, like I said once again, that even the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid and all of that, from what we know, they're at least 50,000 years old. And once again, putting it in perspective, the Bible, even by its own admission, is only about 6,000 years old. The Abrahamic religions are not nowhere near as old as the things that I'm speaking of or talking of. And these things are documented, and there are receipts, as y'all say. So I'm not just splurting off stuff. So, and by the way, always do your own research. Don't take anything that I'm saying for granted. Go and research it for yourself, because then that way you get a better understanding. We in fact, we talk about all the time how people say things and they've never really done the research. They've never really read any of this stuff. They just go on what they hear or what they think, or whatever it is. But they really don't have receipts. And the reason why now I'm pushing all of this stuff about wisdom and knowledge um, is because that's important. And the way you know it's important is just by nature. So in Kemetic spirituality, those the things that you see, what some people try to say are deities or gods or whatever, they're not gods. What they are is their representations of the aspects of your nature. These are the things that those laws and commandments and all of those things, that's the origin of them, or the basis of them. So yeah, so you see, so that's how come, all of this stuff. So spiritually, it's all interconnected. But you also see that when you put together that timeline, all they did was, as time went on, they wanted more power. They wanted more human power and control, as opposed to spiritual power and control. See, the ancients allowed the spirit to control them. And so, like, my sister asked me, like, we were talking about, like, temples. And in fact, one of my oldest friends in ministry, one of the things that we actually, like, were stunned and researched and did a lot of things is, like, temples. What's in temples? That used to be our question. Like, what is it? What's in a temple? Like, you go to, like, what's in a Masonic temple, or what's in a, like, temple, like in a synagogue, or a mosque, or what's in temples? But I'm not going to answer that question. You answer it. You answer it. So because where do spirits dwell? Where are these spirits dwelling? Where do spirits dwell? Remember, because you can't really touch the spirit. But a physical building, right? A physical building will attract this guy. It'll attract your humanity, because I could go in, I could sit down, I could relax, I could do whatever I want to do, right? Because this is comfortable to this guy. And then, because I'm paying more attention to this guy, because just like you see an advertisement, oh, we got, come to this church. We got this, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. All of it, what? Is for your humanity. But then when I get you there with all of this humanity stuff, do I really feed this guy, or do I just fill him with a bunch of emotions, meaningless emotions that have nothing to do with the movement or the vibration of the universe? That this dude right here, that I'm not even paying enough attention. So what happens? Because I keep going back to my demonstration, right? You got this dude. You got this dude, but you don't let this dude get out of control. he's like here. He's like he's out of control. Because you didn't start with this dude. See, you didn't start in the spirit. And everything that's on that continuum that doesn't start in the spirit, it's going to be more difficult for it to manifest and get to exist. Because see, This dude has unlimited resources. This dude doesn't. This dude is rooted in my passion, my desire, my motivation, my whatever it is. That's what this dude is. This dude is like busting his behind because he ain't passionate. He just wants the bag or whatever it is. So he keeps on boom, 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 knocking himself against the wall, thinking that he's going to get the rewards of this, thinking he's going to get the rewards of the spirit, but he ain't never spent no time developing this. In fact, even your scriptures, what do they say? That spiritual gifts should be desired. That's our Bible broken clock of the day moment. and you got to really realize that a broken clock is right twice a day, even if it's just sitting there. And everybody is a broken clock. That's another thing I want to make sure that everybody realizes, that we're all fallible. Nobody is infallible. You know, nobody, because we're all striving to stay balanced. We're all striving to stay balanced, to stay from, getting. And it's not even about emotion. It's just balance in everything. He's just like I was thinking about, like my son says, well, how do you know, like he was like kind of sick to his stomach. I was like, oh, here's some ginger candy, and then after that, then follow it up with some peppermint. And he was like, he was like, how do you know that? I said, my grandmother taught me. And if I got upset stomach, that's what she gave me. So what I'm saying is, and then getting back to, I know I'm all over the place, but getting back to elders and ancestors. And so this is where, because it's funny, because it says, well, you didn't make us. I take Monday off. So I was talking about elders and ancestors. So part of the reason why the generation, or part of the reason why we have a lot of problems, is because we don't listen to our elders and to our ancestors. And in fact, listening to our ancestors has been considered to be like a kind of like a taboo subject or whatever. Oh, you're talking, if you're like somebody told me that it was demonic, like if my mother showed up, in one of my elements of consciousness or my dreams or whatever, and talked to me and delivered a message to me, that it was demonic. And I was like, what? But that's my mother, and I love her, and she loves me, and I know her spirit, and I'm a part of her soul. Do you realize that everybody that you've come in contact with, and every experience you have, but especially those people that nurtured you, even if they're not biologically, but the people that nurtured you and all that kind of stuff, though, you're in that person's soul. That's why the whole thing about universal oneness and all that, where y'all be thinking, oh, he's just talking all these mumble jumble spooky stuff. So you mean to tell, like, the people that those people, you are in their soul and in their spirit. whether you want to be or not. Because what? Your soul is everything, is all your experiences, everything that's made up, that you haven't, everything that you've done, everything that's in you. So that's why the soul in Kemetic is weighed against the feather. So that's why the soul is weighed against the feather. So everything so that's why I'm saying, so when you see somebody, so that's why I keep talking about like the word soulmate are really like taken out of context. We've like narrowed it down to like love relationships and stuff like that. Marriages or whatever. We've narrowed it down to that, but it's a much more vast subject matter, which maybe I'll teach on it one day. But it's vast. It's not as simple as what we think. That's why we shouldn't be out here. And that's another thing. That's why we shouldn't be out here having sex with everybody. Because what happens, every time you exchange, the life forces in the blood, bodily fluids are blood or blood derivatives. Every time you exchange bodily fluids with somebody, you exchange spirits with them. Thus is why you kiss. You do other things. But when you do that, and in the old days, even the ring ceremonies and all that kind of stuff, cut each other, exchange blood, blah blah blah, because it exchanges spirits. That's why people like either I know this person ain't no good for me, but I keep going back. It's spiritual. It ain't got nothing to do. There ain't nothing special about most of these people. If you knew them, sometimes I think, if you knew these people in the spirit, you would be like, oh, and everybody ain't meant for you. Just like I realized, even with the prophet stuff and all that stuff, you realize after a while, it's like, yeah, I could prophesy to a lot of people, but I do not. And in fact, I was telling my sister a story about when I was in jail, and I was like, when I was in jail, every morning, me and my friend Robert, God rest his soul, he's on the other side, but we used to get up every day, and he would be like, he'd be mad at me. I'm gonna just be honest. I didn't really tell her all of this, but he would be mad at me. But every morning, it'd be like clockwork. Boom, we eat, and because in jail everything is like real early, so it's like we're up. And I've always been a morning person. I get up, so we get up first thing. Boom, we start cracking out. We read. We go to the like they had like a room, a multi-purpose room, whatever they called it. We would go in that room and we would just read the Psalms and the Proverbs, and we would read all the Psalms and all the Proverbs every day, the whole time we were in there. The whole time we were in there. So anyway, long story short, there's this guy, and I'm gonna admit that I was probably prejudiced. And I was in fact, I was very prejudiced because he's a white guy. The white guy came to me, and this taught me a lesson though, but he came to me and he was like, well, first of all, before he came to me, he kept messing with me. And so finally I just was like, yo man, why do you keep messing with me? Leave me alone. And so when I confronted him, he said, because you know stuff. He said, you know stuff. I'm like what? What do I know? And he said, you know what I'm saying. And so then I kind of picked up. I was like, oh, he's talking about like spiritual stuff. He wants me to, he wants me to prophesy to him. And I dismissed him. Kind of like, it was sort of like because of my bias, I dismissed him because it was like that. So then I remember like going to lay down. I laid down and literally Spirit played like almost like a videotape of everything that was going to happen to him. So I pop up. I'm like, no. Because I don't want this to become like, because people with prophecy and stuff like that, they get all like, it's not what you think it is. Prophecy is not picking the lotto numbers. That's not what it is. That's not prophecy. Okay. So what I figured, what I surmised from what was going on was the fact that he wanted to know so bad. And apparently this whole thing was like facilitated through me, because and the Spirit knew that I would be a willing participant, because I didn't know this guy from Adam. But I proceeded to tell him what the disposition of his case would end up being, what would happen to his family, and what would happen to him as far as whether he was going to go to prison or not. And I told him the whole thing. He went to court. Two days later, and it unfolded exactly like Spirit told me. So once again, because I was prejudiced, because I had bias, I want to use this as to say that we've got to look at ourselves as humanity. The people, even the people that are at the far end of the thermometer, even the people that are extremely cold, they're still human. And now we're so mixed up, but everything works like he knew that, he knew that I was spiritual, and he knew that he wasn't. But he was like, look, it's almost like and that's why I keep telling y'all, you have to be open, and you have to start pouring back out the stuff that you've been taking in. Because there's a point where you just got to use what you know, right? But if I would have allowed my humanity to outweigh my spirit, but my spirit cooperated, boom, because I exist, and then I was able to help. Might not have been the person that I thought I was going to end up helping. That's why you never know. Once again, divine appointment. You never know who your angel is going to be. But and the thing about being spiritual is you got to be accepting to this guy to be like, okay, look, I'm willing to work for you. I'm willing to work for you. Because you don't know. And so, bro, by one more, we used this one the other day, but it's the same thing. Don't be afraid of men in their faces, because you may be entertaining an angel unaware. This guy may be out there. Well, he is out there. Not only maybe, but he's working. Especially if this guy's asking him for his help. Especially when this guy asking for help. I'm out. Because I'm starting to get silly. That's how I know I'm on to something. I'm telling you. Because when I get this feeling,